Hello everybody and welcome to the Spark YouTube channel, where today we have an exciting video for you guys. We'll be going through our Premier League team of the season so far, due to the fact that we're now halfway through the season. I'm joined today by Mo, Isaac and Ethan. Say hello boys.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, lads.
How this is going to work is that we're going to go through each position and then all say our choice. So without taking any longer, Ethan, do you want to kick us off with your goalkeeper?
I'm going with Emi Martinez from Aston Villa.
I've also gone with him.
I've also gone with him.
I've also gone with him.
I've made that pretty easy, haven't we?
I think it was a no-brainer, really. 32 appearances,
Yeah.
15 clean sheets for a club like Aston Villa. I think he's made a real difference. He's been a really good signing for him. I think he always was a good keeper at Arsenal, and he's came in and done a really good job. And I think he's one of the big reasons why Aston Villa are up there this season.
Yeah, he keeps winning games, doesn't
He commands the box so well as well. Like, when I watch Villa, he's such a calming presence in that team. I think they really benefit from him. And it baffles me as to why he never got a chance earlier on in his career.
I think with Arsenal, it was literally a toss-up with him or Leno, and they stuck with Leno. I think he was playing well at Arsenal, and everyone knew that. And when I was thinking, why didn't a team like Everton go in for him? I know they rate Pickford highly, but I just felt
Maybe a
like,
bit too highly.
yeah, they do at times questionable. But I think Emil was a really good keeper at Arsenal, and it's shown through. He makes big saves week in, week out, I think, and he keeps Villa in a lot of games, and he's gained him a lot of points this season.
For a
he?
side,
Yeah,
like Villa, who have a team of world beaters, you have to have a keeper who's going to win your games, or at least save you from losing, and he's done that.
Yeah.
well, that was a problem last season, wasn't it? They had that Nyland in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he
And
could
then
have got relegated against Sheffield United.
And a good keeper's come in, and obviously it's not
Fumbled the ball,
just down to good keepers coming in, and now they're wherever they are in the league, top 5, I think.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
I think if they
they're
win the
there.
games in hand, they'll go above Liverpool, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. That's right.
Right, that was an easy choice for us. Isaac, do you want to start us off at left back?
Left back, arguably controversial. I've gone with Luke Shaw.
Yes.
Um,
My guy. I've gone with Luke Shaw as well.
I thought when Rashford plays on that left-hand side, they've got a really good partnership, and I think he's just, as much as other years, for some reason, he looks a lot more energetic and a lot more influential going forward and coming back.
He's been brilliantly defensively as well. Like, no one gets past him this season. And like you said, I think he's finally reaching that level that everyone knew he could reach. Yeah. What about you, Mo?
I've gone Aaron Cresswell. He's really impressed me this season. A lot of West Ham's goals have come from crosses, and Aaron Cresswell, he shows really good energy on that left-hand side, and he's got five assists. He got one last night as well, actually. He's been very good. I think with that Luke Shaw one, I'd say if it was the last month, I'd have definitely gone with Luke Shaw, but because it's all the half of this season, Luke Shaw, he weren't standing out at the start of the season for me. He has been very good. In the last month, he's by far the best left back in the league for me, form-wise. But if we're talking across the season, I'm not really sure. But yeah, Aaron Cresswell has been brilliant for West Ham. His set-piece deliveries have been superb from corners and free kicks, and it showed a lot of their goals with Souček and Antonio. They've been scoring goals, and a big reason for that is Aaron Cresswell.
I've had him in my FPL for a good few weeks now. He's like a cheat code. It's like an assist
Yeah,
every
he
game,
is,
guaranteed. What about you, Ethan?
I've gone with Jark and because he played left back for most of his career now. It's not his position, and he's been one of City's best players all season. Like, he's been their best defender, I'd say, apart from the centre back that I'm going to mention soon. He's only just come back to right back last few weeks, and I think he's been one of the best players. So yeah, I've gone with Jark and
Yeah, Cancelo was one of the two. It was either Cresswell or Cancelo for me. He can play either right back or left back. I think he has been very good.
Well, I've also gone for that player, Ethan, but a different position, as we're going to see. Because he has been playing in a mix of positions.
Yeah, he has. He's played in midfield as well.
Yeah, he can literally play anyways.
Yeah,
he's so versatile.
Wing.
Yeah.
Right then, should we get into the two centre-backs? Mo, do you want to talk us through yours?
Yeah, I've got Diaz. It's a no-brainer for me, that one. 16 games, 9 clean sheets. He looks solid and demanding. I think the problem City had at the start of the season and last season as well, they're conceding too many goals. Scoring goals has never been their issue, and they've sorted that back line out. And Diaz, it's almost like he's sorted that back line out single-handedly nearly. He gives Stones the confidence to play with him, and you can see how good John Stones has become playing with Diaz. I think that one was a no-brainer. The other one I've got is Fofana. He makes things look so easy. It cost 30 million, which is a lot of money for a young player. I think he's only 20 years old.
Yeah, I think he was 19 when they signed him.
Yeah, and there was a lot of pressure on him at that price. But I think he shows great pace. He's great in the air.
He's really good physically, isn't he? No one
Yeah, and I think he's a big reason why Leicester are up there again. Leicester have had a superb season. So I think Fofana for me.
Well, I've got the exact same two as you. I think Diaz has just been so solid this season. And it was a toss-up between Fabinho and Fofana for me. But I just went Fofana just because of his age, really. It's how impressive he's been. He's reading of the game as well. He's reading the game so good for his age. It's as if he's been playing at a high level for years on years now.
Yeah, he's got. I think we can all see he's got bags of potential. He's only going to get better.
I can see them offering him for 80 to 100 mil if someone came in for him. Yeah. What about you, Isaac?
I've also gone Ruben Diaz, but I've gone with Bednarek from Southampton. I think with obviously Southampton have been known for conceding goals, and this season they've built a solid defensive two with him and Vestergaard.
Vestergaard's been injured the past few weeks, hasn't he? And I think it's shown partnership.
Yeah, they've built this really strong connection on the back line, and obviously a big reason to why they're doing much better this season than in previous seasons. I think he's been a big reason for that.
Yeah, Southampton look very good. Although recently they have started to tail off a little bit, but it's to be expected. They've not got the best squad as well. So I'll kick us off at right back. As I said before, I've also gone with João Cancelo, and that's where I've stuck him. I think the past month or so, maybe a bit more than that, he's been playing right back consistently. And he moves up into this sort of like inside right midfield position where he can play balls over the line and cross it. And he's both feet as well. He's so comfortable on the ball. You wouldn't know he's a fullback, would you, by watching him? Anyone else got any of the right backs?
I've got Reece James. It's a toss-up between him and Matty Cash from Aston Villa. I've been impressed every time I watch Matty Cash play for Villa. Reece James, he's been like, I'd say he's been Chelsea's best player this season. Every time he's played, really, he's been solid. Last time I watched him, I was against Everton recently, and he was easily their best player. It was the only threat they had, really. And I think he's been solid all season. Probably their best player.
Yeah, I think I've got James Justin, but just touching on what Ethan just said, I think Reece James he had a really good first half of the season. But I think when he picked up a knock, didn't he, at some point in the first half of the season, and he's just not been the same player since. And I think that's shown with Chelsea's results that have come. I think Reece James is a big reason of why they were up there this season. His delivery of crosses going to Giroud were immense. But I've gone with James Justin. The reason for that is the way he's come in. He was only going to come in and do a temporary job for Ricardo Pereira. And the way he actually approaches Leicester's attacks is almost he'll think he's a right winger. He creates a lot of Leicester's goals. You could almost say pre-assist. Like when he's playing down that wing, he's constantly feeding Vardy with crosses and Maddison and Harvey Barnes. So I think James Justin's really impressed me this season, and I think he's another one who's only going to get better. And his performances have shown that I can't see Ricardo Pereira getting back in the side for me.
Yeah, I think he's been fantastic. Another player that I've had in my fantasy for a very long time.
Yeah, he creates chances at literally every game. Like when he's overlapping down them wings, it's brilliant.
He gets into the box as well. I think he could have had a few goals this season, but
yeah,
missing the target.
Yeah, I think it was a toss up between them three: Mike Cash, Reece James, and James Justin.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Matty Cash as well. The way he stepped up from the Championship.
Yeah.
Did you go for one of them, Isaac, or have you gone for someone else?
Yeah, I went Reece James as well. Defensively and attacking. Attacking fourth most crosses for a fullback in the league. And when you've got a striker like Giroud in the box, that's always going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Jumping into the midfield, I think we've got some questionable formations in this one. There's a lot of players that we could potentially shove in. Isaac, who have you got in the centre of your park?
I've gone with Souček.
Yeah, me too.
He is a defensive midfielder, but the best form of defence is attack, and he scored 7 goals from that position. So I think it was a no-brainer.
The way he gets into the box, it's like a new version of Marouane Fellaini, isn't it? No one can stop him when he gets in.
Yeah.
He's just so powerful.
Yeah, I've got Souček as well. And as Isaac said, he's a defensive midfielder. Him and Rice are superb because I think they have that balance there. What one can't provide, the other one does. Declan Rice don't get many goals, however Souček does, but I think Declan Rice is box to box, so he covers his ground. And as I mentioned earlier, Aaron Cresswell and Souček, that link-up's great because from set pieces, it shows 7 goals for a centre defensive midfielder is immense. But yeah, Souček's really impressed me this half of the season.
Yeah, he's been the best player, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've got Souček as well. I don't think there's any arguments with that one. I looked at his defensive stats as well, and he's got some really impressive like tackles, clearances, etc. He does cover a lot of ground, him and Rice, and I think that's obviously part of the reason why West Ham are flying so high in the league right now. Who have you got in the centre of your midfield, Ethan?
Well, I've gone with Grealish, Fernandes, and KDB. I've had no balance in my midfield, but I couldn't leave any of them 3 out.
No
Grealish. Grealish has been, in my opinion, top 3 best players in the league this season. I think he carried Villa. Every time you play against Villa, you think of Grealish straight away, and you think how dangerous he is. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, just standard, carrying what he did last season. Centre of Man United, being top of the league. Kevin De Bruyne, he's one of City's best players this season, but probably City's best attacker. He makes assists without even trying, really. He does everything effortlessly. He's just brilliant to watch. So yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, Jack Grealish, and Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any arguments with that either. With Grealish, he's missed out on my team narrowly. I think maybe part of the reason is, I don't know, just playing for Villa, it comes with the territory. Obviously, there's going to be games where they're not going to do so well just because it's Aston Villa and they've not necessarily got the quality. He's a fantastic player and without doubt their most impressive. And I think if he was at a big club, maybe a top 6 team, he'd 100% be in my team, but he's just missed out for me. In the centre of my midfield as well, along with Souček, I think everyone's got Bruno, haven't they? You can't leave him out. His stats just speak for them. His stats speak for themselves. The amount of influence he has on this Man United team. I think we've played 45 minutes without him in this season, maybe against West Ham in the first half, and we got absolutely slaughtered. And he comes on and we win 3-1. He's just the difference.
I won't just say it's the actual stats, just what he brings mentally and
his energy as well.
He's a leader and he's just lifted the whole club, really.
Yeah, Fernandes. I think he's what United were missing. Just as soon as he signed, United just turned into a different team for me. And I said in the podcast when we give our predictions, just some of the angles and spaces he'll find Rashford and Martial in, like there's some games where there's not much in it, and Fernandes will just come out with a moment of magic to get him out of it. For me, form-wise, you could argue he's been the best in the league, like this season. Like De Bruyne's had his injuries. He didn't have the best start to the season, but recently has become very good. But he's picked up an injury again, so I think Fernandes, he's been the most consistent player for me. He's been absolutely superb. So I've got Fernandes. And the other player I've got is, I had to disagree with you on that one, George. I had to have Jack Grealish in for me. As Ethan said, he's probably in the top 3 players for me this season. The way he just strolls past players. And you said he doesn't play for a big side. Aston Villa are a big side, but I know what you mean. He's not in the top 6. That's what makes him even better for me. Like, he's playing with players. They are good players, don't get me wrong. Like, you're playing with Ollie Watkins, El Ghazi, etc. They are decent players, but he's playing with players that are just average Premier League players, and he single-handedly carries Aston Villa in games for me. And his stats speak for themselves again, like the Bruno Fernandes. He scored 5 goals with 8 assists for a club like Aston Villa. That's superb, and he's a big reason why they're up there this season.
Yeah.
Grealish is my other midfielder as well. I think, as Mo said, I think the fact that he plays for the lesser side, maybe financially in terms of what they can bring in and whatnot, I think it helps him because he has to do that. The pressure's on him. They need someone to do what Grealish has done, and he has done. I think that. So yeah, that's why he's in my midfield.
Don't think I can have any argument with that, boys. I've been out Grealish 3-1, haven't I? Is that all our midfielders? Have we all done the midfielders? Yeah.
Yeah. The thing goes for me is, I know Ethan's gone with 3 attacking midfielders. I needed to have that balance, but sometimes it's difficult to leave the best players out. But if you put them into a team, I just felt like you could either put Kevin De Bruyne in there, but I needed that balance. That's why I had Souček and Fernandes. Fernandes played in that midfield anyway, in that middle at times. So I felt like Souček and Fernandes, as the two, were good, as Fernandes can provide the attacking football and Souček can provide the defensive work, and a Jack Grealish in the middle. So I think that's where my balance came from, and it showed the stats.
Well, with Kevin De Bruyne, he does similar to what Bruno does for Man United, and he's Kevin De Bruyne sits and just pings balls about inch perfect passes. So I think he can do a similar job as well. Right.
All that work rate,
defensively, but
Kevin De Bruyne's work rate, he doesn't stop running, does he? You know, one player that I was sort of debating, but only didn't because his form's only been good recently. Ilkay Gundogan. Fantastic.
100%. He's one that just missed out for me narrowly. I've been really impressed with him. Just even if you watched the game last night against West Brom,
he was unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's got big boots to fill with Kevin De Bruyne, and I think with Kevin De Bruyne missing, Gundogan needs to pick up a little bit, and I think he's got all the ability in the world to do that.
Well, it's like he's playing false 9, isn't it, recently?
Yeah.
He's always in the box, always in around the box anyway. He's scoring a lot of goals from it as well. He started with Chelsea, didn't it?
His finishing's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then
the way he put that first goal yesterday. He scored 7 goals this season in 14 games. So that's averaging a goal every 2 games. So playing that, I wouldn't even say he's an attacking midfielder. He's just a type of player he is. 7 goals, a goal every 2 games average is very good. He just about missed out for me.
Yeah. Going into the forward line, I know we've had some disagreements in the midfield. I'm sure our strikers will be the same, but before that, who we got at left wing?
I've gone for Son.
So have I.
Yeah.
I think you'd definitely struggle to leave him out, wouldn't you? He's been absolutely unbelievable this season. Him and the striker that I'm sure we're all going to mention in a minute.
Yeah.
The partnership, I think after match week 12 or match week 13, they had the most goal combinations between them ever in a Premier League season. It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got Son as well. He scored 12 goals and 6 assists. it's almost shows itself again. It's impossible not to have him in there. Him and Kane, I'm sure we'll all mention, they've carried that Spurs side. You look at that Spurs team on paper, and I've said it in the past, there's not many players that stand out to me in that team. It showed in the FA Cup the other day as well. Who did they play again?
Wickham,
that's the one. Yeah. Before Kane and Son came on, you wouldn't know that Spurs are a top Premier League side. Take them two out the equation, Spurs are very good for me, and that shows the presence of Son and Kane. 12 goals and 8 assists for Son. It's absolutely superb.
Yeah, he's got a lot, hasn't he?
I think anyone with a goal contribution per game in any season is ridiculous and deserves to be in a team of the season.
I couldn't agree more. Before we go to the striker, who have we got at right wing?
I've got
with Salah.
Yeah, I've gone with Mo as well.
Yeah, I've got Salah as well.
It was a tough one for me. Well, not a tough one, but he's obviously not been on good form recently, the past 4 or 5 games. He's not scored, has he? Liverpool have just been off it in general, though. It's not really down to Mo Salah.
He's not scored in a while, has he? And he's still top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah, I was going to say that. People might not put him in the team just because he's not had a good few weeks, but you got to remember it's the team of the season up to now, and being the top goal scorer with 3 assists as well, he scored 13 goals. I think before this patch, Mo Salah was winning them games where it was evenly contested, and he's just a very good player. I'm not bothered what anyone says.
It's not just him though, is it? Like he's always the one that really turns up. Like say when they played Aston Villa, for example, got beat 7-2. He scored both their goals.
That's it. Yeah,
he's the only one that turned up.
I could name a couple for you. Like when they played Fulham, he's not been in the game. He might be a penalty, but a penalty's a penalty. He scored. He's got him a point. He's gotten points over the course of the season. Mo Salah, easily one of the best players in Europe. I'd go for.
Isaac, have you got Mo in there as well?
I've not actually. I've got him in my honourable mentions, of course, because Mo Salah and because of the goals he scored. But I've gone DCL. Ethan's man.
Ethan one.
I was going to put him in. But
he's just had at the start of this season. He scored so many goals, had a massive influence on the Everton side, and I just think Everton haven't really had a goal scorer.
Since Lukaku.
Yeah. For a long time. Yeah, since Lukaku. So for him to come in, well, not come in, but him to show his presence and score that many goals in half the season, it's brilliant.
Well, at the start of the season, like before the season started, people didn't. Like Everton fans wanted a striker really. We thought you might not be able to cut it because we signed all these players like Juan Rodriguez, Alan, Corey, all these players. We thought, well, we need a striker now to like finish it off. But he's come in, got player of the month in the first month of the season. He turned to like one of the players everyone weren't sure about to one of our most important players in the space of about 6 months. But Ancelotti's changed him into a different beast, and yeah, he would have been in there for me, but he'd had a bit of a dry patch. He hadn't scored in the last 5 Prem games.
I think
he's struggled because of the injuries as well, hasn't he? To Digne and Rodriguez.
Yeah, because we don't have any creative for it.
And the formation, as we're doing a 4-3-3 and only one striker, it had to be Harry Kane for me. But if we had 2 up front, like a 4-4-2, Calvert-Lewin would definitely be the second striker.
Onto striker position, Mo, you just mentioned him, Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. As I said with Son as well, Kane scored 12 goals and 11 assists. And that's just ridiculous stats. It chooses itself.
20 combinations in 18 games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. As I said, like you don't rarely see Tottenham score when it's not Kane or Son. Obviously, it does happen, but you don't see it happen often. And them two together as a pair are probably the best team in the league. I'd go for as a two. They're just you can't even put into words. Like every time Tottenham win and every time I watch them, it's just them two carrying them constantly.
Well, with Kane, he's changed his game and he's become more selfless and he's still scoring goals. Because really, he never really got many assists, but now he's adding that to his game as well, and he's become like a different beast.
Passing's out of this world. Do you remember the Southampton game at the start of the season when he had 4 assists all for Son?
Yeah.
Crazy. His passing game is unbelievable. Isaac, have you got Harry up front?
Yeah, I couldn't choose anyone else. 23 goal contributions in 18 games. As everyone said, carrying the Spurs side with Son. I don't think you can possibly go anyone else.
Yeah, I've also got Harry Kane up top. I think you've pretty much mentioned it all. He scores goals as well that I don't think many other players, a handful of players in the world, would be able to do. The one against Sheffield United where he just picks it up on the turn about 25 yards out. He drives past 2 players and he smashes it in the bottom corner. Just not many other players in the world have got the technique that he's got in and around the box.
He's involved in everything that Spurs do, really, him and Son. So, like, if it weren't for him, they wouldn't be anywhere near where they are now.
He does many goals where one of them's not been involved at all.
Well, there's not many. There's that bet at the start, wasn't it, for Kane to assist Son and Son to assist Kane. And that came in often. It came about 6 times.
It was like good odds at the start, if my memory's right. It could have been about 50-1.
Yeah, it's gone to about 20.
I think it was at the start, and now it's like 1 week it was about 22-1.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Not surprised, really.
I think that just about wraps up there. We've put together some nice teams. The graphics will be on the screen, and also if you head to our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, we're going to be posting teams and you guys can vote for who you think has put together the best and most accurate team of the season so far. As always, boys, thanks for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
And we hope everyone enjoyed the video. See you later, guys.
See you later.
Yeah.